Hey guys, welcome back to Compound. There wasn't a video last week because there wasn't really a race. We didn't see much point of doing one to wrap up the weather. But yeah, this week, Zandvoort's just happened. As always, I'm here with Charlie.
Hello.
And yeah, let's get straight into it. First of all, Charlie.
Yes.
Over the weekend, Zandvoort.
I think that if this was done behind COVID closed doors, it would be like the worst race of the last, 5-10 years, easily.
It looked like a lovely track.
If you're driving
it looks lovely.
If you're driving like Renault Cup cars or something.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be great for that with all the bank turns and stuff. But a Formula One car just dwarfed the entire thing.
What I found weird was everyone went for the high line, the high line during practice, and in the race went for the low line. But then on the corners, you saw Ocon do it. I think you saw Pierre Gasly do it as well.
Oh, what, ran turn 1?
I think turn 3 as well. People took the higher line for overtaking and would just send it round, and they'd overtake very easily going the higher line, which proved to be the faster line if you put your foot down. So it's a bit like,
why don't you do it normally?
Why isn't everyone just taking this line if you can just put your foot down, go around the outside and the higher line? Max, Supermax. That's what I want to race on to. They said no orange fog, orange smoke grenades everywhere. You had Alonso's mic at the end just go, I take it Max has won because the track just got covered in orange smoke from where he was.
See, that's the thing. If they weren't there, it would be such a... the race would have been awful. Like, they were just holding on to that fact that there was an atmosphere at a Formula One race. Like, they were holding on to that so hard.
It's like you get the Tifosi, don't you? The Ferrari, the red smoke grenades, but this is just a different breed for the Max stuff. I like it, how Silverstone's a good track.
Yeah.
And you also get the big British fan base for mainly Lewis, but you get like Lando and George coming through as well. So you get a big British fan base, kind of like the Holland Max, Zandvoort, but the track actually holds up at Silverstone, whereas I don't think Zandvoort has the staying power, I think we'll see that there next year on the calendar. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, I can't remember.
But if the cars can race closer together, then we might actually get some better racing with the new cars.
Closer racing will change Zandvoort, I think, but currently these Range Rovers, you're not going to get much around there. Yeah. Going on to your finishes, obviously we did a little bit of predictions beforehand. I had in my head a Max Lewis Bottas. I don't know what you had in your head beforehand on the race.
It's going to be something like that, yeah. It's just that thing of whoever. The only one that I reckon could have sort of interrupted it a bit were Ferrari, because they were showing some decent pace. But in the end, Gasly managed to put it P4 qualifying, which was ridiculously good.
They were saying to Christian Horner, like, oh, you and Helmut had a couple of chats, like, how's Pierre going to help you during the race and stuff? Because obviously, sister clubs have seen if Red Bull were going to use Pierre like a Red Bull car, effectively, to strategically try and split the Mercedes, but obviously it didn't work. But
especially with Perez, just, again, not helping himself by having to start right at the back and stuff like that. Like, he started okay, and then he had a couple of good races, and now it just seems like this might end up being, again, another thing of the cursed seat at Red Bull.
Perez is his own worst enemy, though. I think he will do an amazing, on the Sunday, he'll do an amazing drive, he'll claw it back from basically P20 and end up in the points still. He'll do an amazing drive, but then he doesn't set himself up to succeed on the Saturday.
Yeah.
He'll always do something, will happen, which means he'll start 20. So he'll do an amazing drive. He'll win driver of the day from going from P20 up to P8, P9, whatever it is.
Yeah, but that doesn't get you points.
It gets him some points, just not what he needs points.
I meant for driver of the day and stuff like that. Like, he's overtaking people, but that's because he's in a car that should be, a second a lap quicker than everyone else. Like, Max is doing it, so he should be able to do it as well.
You see Lewis do it as well when Lewis could lose like a couple of races early in the season, go straight from the back of the pack all the way up.
Yeah.
And he should be able to do that, and he does. But then it's also, okay, well, on Saturday, why isn't he putting the car where it should be? Because if he's putting the car where, even like George Russell in the Williams at Belgium, he put it P2. If Checo could put his Red Bull P2 and has that pace and has the thing, he could just sit there P2, P1 with Max. Like, he sets himself up to fail by not qualifying as well as he should on the Sunday.
I think that is going to be Red Bull's big issue in terms of trying to win the constructors. Like, you always hear the mid-table teams saying that when one of the big four boys mess up, they need to capitalise on that. But at the moment, it's just the three. Like, Bottas is always there or thereabouts after a bit of a dodgy start, which is probably when he was told you're not going to be having the seat next year anyway. Perez is leaving that gap open for someone like Gasly to go and get P4, or, if Bottas isn't on it, there's a podium spot available. And I think that is, for the viewer's point of view, it's great because it means that McLaren and, for a moment yesterday, Alpine were looking like they could be on for a really good, double points finished. It's kind of a shame that the two cars driving closest together were then told to, not really race each other. They were the only two that after the start, you were like, oh, they're quite close. Maybe they'll do something. And it was like, no, give each other space. It's good for us because it means that going into next year, if there is going to be that thing of one of the Red Bulls is always falling down, opens up the opportunity for like I say, for McLaren or even Aston Martin, whoever it's going to be, Bottas at Alfa Romeo now opens up that opportunity for something to happen there.
That brings me on to Valtteri Bottas. Can I just talk about his fastest lap attempt? So yesterday, obviously, you saw Valtteri Bottas try and go for fastest lap, then be told, stop, Valtteri, stop it. So obviously he knew yesterday he wasn't there next year.
Yep.
You saw in interviews before the race, you had Christian Horner walk over, rub George on the shoulder, congratulations on the deal, mate, live on camera. Horner knew what he was doing. He knew that Mercedes haven't announced it yet. He knows everyone knows about it. So how can he bait it out and take Mercedes thunder? Because Horner likes to start fun, mess with Toto. He'll announce it on TV before Mercedes can. Daniel Ricciardo walks over. I don't think there's no malice in what Daniel did, but he walked over to be like, oh, congrats, George. Took a selfie with him, said, like, future world champion. The Sky Sports were like, well, Daniel, what are you doing?
Even George did it himself, though, when they said, when are we going to see you at the top spot of the podium? And he was like, next year, definitely next year.
And then he froze and went, yeah, because the new cars are very good. Like, it's the worst kept secret on the paddock. But Valtteri Bottas, you knew as soon as he went, okay, I'm going for fastest lap, Lewis going, I need all the points, stop Valtteri, and him backing off. I think that shows him not losing, he's defeated inside now. He knows he's number 2 driver. He's going to Alfa next season. Now that Alfa's signed, I wonder if you're going to see Valtteri Bottas go, fuck off, I'm going for fastest lap, I want a point. What's he going to do? He gets burnt with Mercedes. Okay, he's gone. It's like when someone gets fired from a workplace, they don't care for their less.
They're on gardening leave, yeah.
Yeah, they don't care. I want to see if this new Valtteri Bottas, I say 6.0 now, whatever point we are on Valtteri, if the malice comes through and he just starts going, fuck off, Lewis, I'm not inverting my cars. I'm just going to send it. I'm going for fastest lap. And that's what I'm interested to see what Valtteri does.
See, this is why I was quite interested in the fact that Valtteri really did let Lewis through.
Yeah.
And even before these things had been announced, it was all just rumours. And this is when it was actually undecided what was going to happen. A few races ago, he was getting a bit more racy with him. So I was quite surprised to see how quickly he just, moved over and let him through and was like, yeah, go on, off you go.
I think he's just defeated. Lewis, the cheek of Lewis, going, oh, Max is getting so lucky with all the traffic. Sorry, did you see how many seconds Valtteri took off of him just holding Max up? Max went from a 3.5 second gap to Lewis down to 0.7 of a second. Max didn't get lucky. You're just lucky your teammate lets you pass, Lewis.
Yeah, but they were saying that, it doesn't, because that track is so twisty, turny, constantly, you can get lucky with where you're overtaking people, but it's one of those things, it's always going to balance out, isn't it?
So, next weekend, we're back at Monza. The Tifosi will probably be out in full force. What's your predictions? Are we going to see Ferrari on the podium? What are you thinking?
No. Ferrari won't be up there. Basically, if it's not Monaco, they ain't getting podiums at the moment.
We see tactical Charles into the wall, locking his first place podium
for
the grid. But yeah, I think Lando, obviously Daniel's been getting a bit faster in the McLaren. Don't think he's going to get towards the podium. I can see a top 6 finish, Daniel, potentially, because if the Ferraris drop out. I don't think Aston Martin, they're not having a good time. Seb's engine shitting all everywhere, not looking too hot. I reckon Max, it's a given at this point, in that I reckon we may see either if Valtteri loses his head and goes, oh, fuck it, P14 kind of shit, or you may see him pushed. So maybe a Valtteri P2, but the Mercedes strategy won't let him do it, I don't think. So I'm going to go with Max, Lewis, and then Lando. My 1, 2, 3. What's yours?
I'd like to see it now bounce between the 2 drivers so that we end up going to last race of the season.
Yeah.
So I would like to see Lewis win for that thing of, okay, Max won, Lewis win, mix it up. I do think it'll be Lewis, then Max. And then third. See, this is where I feel like it's so open. All right, let's go McLaren, but let's go Ricciardo.